9-7 to make it to single elimination with 3 wins out of 3. The first player into the last 64 was Syria's speed merchant, Mohamed Soufi, who wasted no time in hammering Salvador Garcia 9-1. Match is still in progress. Tim de Ruyter 5-4 up on Albin Auschen. Kopin Yi has recovered from a slow start to make it 5-5 with Imran Majid. Oliver Szolnocki on the hill against David Vu. The Hungarian number 1 leads 8-2. Mark Bajtabosch with his powerful break had enough in reserve to beat Konrad Yuzushin 9-5. New Zealand's Sullivan Clark, who celebrated his birthday this week, hoping for a perfect present with a victory over Ko Ping Chung. Not doing too badly is Sullivan Clark, but he is 5-4 behind. Just underway, Duong Kwok Wang and Wojciech Szewczyk still in the first rack. Anton Raga, last year's runner-up, he's 1-0 up on Ko Ping Han. Johan Chur on his way to Reyes Cup inclusion, you would think. He's 4-1 up on Francesco Candela. Tobias Bongers and Nick Vandenberg have shared the first 2 racks. Defending champion David Al-Kadi 3-1 on Ian Pekenyak. Wu Kunlin 5-2 over Mickey Kraus. The shouter, will he have something to shout about today? Well, Elliot Sanderson has taken rack number 1 from Nick Malai. And Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, we saw his struggles yesterday, even though he won both of his matches. Well, it doesn't look as though he's struggling right now because he leads Georgi Georgiev of Bulgaria 4-0. The cream, I think it's fair to say, Carl Boys, is rising to the top.
Yes, and we fully expect that. The players at the top of the rankings doing the business. Still early stages, we're in qualification zone, aren't we? It's what we like to call it, 256 to 64. Because when we have 64 left, it's single elimination. Think of it a little bit like golf, Uncle Phil. You've got to try and make the cut.
That's the 3rd time you've called me Uncle Phil this week. I prefer it to Grandpa Phil.
Yeah, I think it suits you. SVB, the best bait breaker in the business. And that's why, just look at the difference that we're seeing here on his break. Yeah, he's no shot on the blue too, but completely different style to pretty much every other breaker that we've seen so far. Only really Mario He likens that. And for me, I don't know why more of the pros are not breaking this way. You look at the guys who are having the success. Eklund Kachi, Bedo Ghost, SVB. Power breakers. Needs good safety here though. He's going to try and cinch the cue ball in that little gap in the bottom right hand corner behind the 9 and the pink 4. Touchy little shot this. That's why, because it can creep out. As the 8 ball saved the day.
He loves his 9-ball pool, does Gary Wilson. Since he started playing, he's had some very notable victories, but I think this would be right at the top of the tree if he were to beat Van Boening. It is a challenge he will savour, though. He's a busy man at the moment. Wilson, he's off to China next week to take part in the inaugural Xi'an Grand Prix. Xi'an being the city that houses the Terracotta Warriors. In goes the 3, but so does the cue ball. And look at this 4-9 combination. Thank you very much.
Yeah, had to go rail first. Was with Gary last night. at the meal, and he said he needs to get off to a good start, and that is just the start he wanted.
If he has 8 more of those combinations, we can put his name in the next round already. If you're unfamiliar with snooker, the rankings mean an awful lot. He's currently well inside the top 16, and he holds 2 big titles. He successfully defended the Scottish Open title last season, and then he won the Welsh Open also. So things are going the best they've ever gone for Gary Wilson right now. He spent a lot of last season genuinely unhappy with the way he was queuing, but I don't hear those remarks now from him. I think he's more positive. He's made a pretty good start to the new season, winning a couple of important qualifying matches. And as I say, he goes over to China next week. The snooker season, by the way, runs from late June, that kind of thing, right through to the end of the World Championship, which is normally the first week in May. It used to be snooker season began in September till May, but there are so many tournaments on now and the scene is so vibrant that the summer schedule has never been busier. But he fits in time for 9-ball pool because he loves it.
Yeah, he's a great lad and all. Since he's come over to the WNT, and he plays in what events he can make. He does like playing, he likes getting out there. Become very friendly with Gary, top lad. And it was that very department as well that he spoke about last night. He said he needs to break well. He knows what SVB can bring to the table with the break. Decent crowd around this table and all. You might not quite see it on the camera that often looks back on the seating, but just to the side where the other table is, we have Joshua Filler playing Mustafa Alnar. Alnar was the guy who beat Fedor Gorst in the World Pool Championships. He was the one who beat the world champion qualification round. So he's clearly got game. And then just on the opposite side of the table, from the main table, we've got FSR. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is in action.
Yes, this is the day when the tournament really revs up into a higher gear.
Surely Gazzy's not having a go at this one, is he? Yeah, he couldn't. Good safety, this, though. It's a very good safety. Oh, he's just crept out. Look how fast the cue balls come out there, Phil.
We always talk about the speed of the table when it comes to the difficulty of playing position, but it's also the case that it catches players out with safety, especially early on in a match when they're not used to how quick it is. Viktor Zielinski is through, beating Dan Afriat 9-6. His time could come. Zielinski.
Yeah, another one of them players in that bracket that you've heard us talk about today. Very easy on the eye and all, Zielinski, just the way he plays the game. Just gets on with it, doesn't it?
And yet another in that bracket, I think you'll agree, Carl, Oliver Sholnocki. He's through, beating David Vu 9-2.
Yeah, he's turned himself into a real competitor as Zolnok. He always seems to be there and thereabouts, doesn't he? How many players do you think on tour we would class as tier 1, if you like, the top tier, Phil? How many do you reckon he is?
Well, very top tier, absolute elite, I would say 8. And then you've got, I think, 30 maybe 35 people who could win tournaments.
Okay, that's a big number. Yeah, I think you could definitely name 8 players, maybe 10 players in that sort of tier 1 bracket.
And Shane Van Boening would definitely be there. The all-time great gets back onto level terms. The soon-to-be inducted BCA Hall of Famer.
Yeah, rightly so. He's done so much, not just, you know, on WNT, in all events all over the world for years. And, you know, he's without doubt the biggest name in America.
Well, actually, between matches, I was writing a little report for the Snooker Scene magazine about SVB's latest success. In fact, it was a double success at the Big Easy Classic in Jefferson, Louisiana. He won the 1-pocket division, beating Roberto Gomez in the final, and then the 9-ball, twice overcoming Francisco Bustamante.
Table 2, Alnar has won the opening 2 racks over Joshua Filler. Filler's kicking at a 2-ball. I know you can't see that table. I'm just giving you a little bit of, well, you can see it. There it is. Joshua Filler to the left. He's playing in that nice purpley pink shirt. He's actually kicking at a 2-ball there. I'll let you know if he hits it. He missed it, he scratched, so Alnar's got ball in hand for a 3-rack lead.
So Van Boening gets those balls scooting around again, but much like the first rack, nothing doing.
Yeah, but Phil, this is day 3 for the players, and it's also day 3 for us. He breaks different, doesn't he? He just hits them different. It's not medium, he's unloading, it's full power. Yeah, you're not guaranteed a shot on the lowest ball, but if you keep putting the one in the side, at some point you will get a shot on the lowest ball. Does have a safety shot on here. He's got to hit this one mighty thin. Then he'll track the cue ball off a couple of rails down towards the green 6. Got to make sure you hit the 2 though. So often you see them miss the ball and give up ball in hand. Or you hit it too thick. It could well be one of the most difficult shots in cue sport. Full length, hitting it thin. Horrible.
And one of the reasons our first match today went to Max Lechner, at a vital point in a topsy-turvy affair, he played an absolutely brilliant, ultra-thin safety shot.
Yeah, and I thought you was actually going to talk about the last rack there, where Labutus messed up a thin safety shot, and that's what gave Lechner the chance to win the match at Hill Hill.
What a strange affair it was, though. If you're just joining us, Lechner won 8-7 after being 5-2 behind. A whole sequence of mistakes from both players, all kinds of incidents, and a race to 8 that took 2 hours, 12 minutes.
What's he spotted here? Where's the cue ball? Where's the 2 ball? Yeah, I think he'll take that. I don't know if there's a bank shot on for Gaz. Gary's gone through about 10 cues in his short pool career, Phil. He just can never decide on what cue to use. I understand it, you know, the fact that he uses a one-piece snooker cue for his chosen cue sport. He just can't get comfortable with a pool cue, so he's got a thicker snooker cue in his hand now. He's had one made, and the tip, I think it's about 11.5, 12 mil. That will suit him potting the ball, but I think it will hinder him playing certain power shots, but sometimes you don't get faced with them sort of shots in matches. And the fact that we're playing on a 4-inch or just under 4-inch in certain events on the circuit will mean your safeties sometimes don't have to be as tight as Let's say on a bigger pocket table, because on a bigger pocket table, the bank shot's easier. The thin snippers are easier. They're not as easy on a tighter table. So there's a few more snooker shot style safeties that come into 9-ball now. That will also suit Wilson. Wants to hit the bottom side of the 2 hit. Exactly like that. That gives you an opportunity of distance. It's not paid off though.
And worse still, it's an open table now.
Big news on table 2. Mustafa Alnar is 4-0 up on Joshua Filler. If you're not familiar with Alnar, a little bit like some of us, he was the man who beat Fedor Gors in the World Champs in qualification rounds. He served Fedor's only loss in the event. We know what happened then. Fedor went on to win. So what I'm saying is, if Josh loses, might be a good thing.
Well, it might be a good thing for us because, of course, later on today, the main table will house losers qualification, and that will mean we might get to see Mr. Filler.
Well, you remember when we got to witness Pia versus Josh? That was here, wasn't it? Was it last year or the year before, Phil?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that on the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel has done silly amounts of views. I think it's on about 20 million views. He's landed on the 50-yard line here. He'll play it into the side pocket.
We saw Labutis play a shot like this earlier today on a pink 4 ball, and he missed it by a mile. Not SVB.
He'll play this into the top right corner. It offers a bigger pocket. Always interested to see the pace they play it. Yeah, perfect. You know, if you catch the rail, the pocket will swallow the ball. SVB is warming up.
Yes, he's a man on form, is Shane Van Boening, now taking a 2-1 lead after losing the first rack. I was mentioning those 2 wins in Louisiana. Before that, he won the Weir Memorial in Washington State in the Pacific Northwest. If he were to capture this title, Carl, in 2024, it would be his 10th tournament win. And that would be a pretty good way to go into the US Open. The tournament perhaps he prizes the most. Don't know whether you agree. There's an aura around certain players, and Shane Van Boening most certainly has that.
Yeah, he definitely is. Couldn't agree more. He's the, you know, he's the big player, isn't he? From overseas, from the States, from America. He's the main man, isn't he? He's done it all. His resume is simply astonishing. He's won everything, really. It's not a tournament he's never won. He's not won the European Open, to be fair, but you know what I mean, Phil.
Yeah, he's decimating these balls, and this too, causing him to be very aggravated. In the first rack, he was deprived of a run out off the break because the 2 went in when he thought, and it hit the jaws, he would have been bang in.
What's amazing there is we've seen it a good few times today. He could actually hit every single ball on the table after that break, apart from the blue 2. Amazing. Couldn't even see a little edge. This is the snooker shot style safety we're about to see. He's hit it too thick, nearly scratched, and it's gone wrong, way too thick. The only good thing is, as Gaz walks back to the chair, he will know SVB's jacked up. My apologies, Mustafa Alnar is actually 3-0, not 4-0. He's at the table to make it 4-0 though. Put a lot of effort in the pot, forgot the pace of the shot. That's why there's no shot on the red 3. Still played the thin snipper. Good pot. 4 ball. Don't know if it goes in the middle from that angle, to be quite honest with you.
Well, if it does, it would be the pool equivalent of threading the eye of a needle. The target is minuscule from that angle. Maybe even non-existent.
Wow, what a shot he has played there. That didn't look on, did it? I thought if he could pot it in the corner, he'd definitely have to hit the rail a little bit.
Well, it was a tough pot without the brown 7 ball obstructing, or potentially obstructing, and yet he knocked it in with ease. Three racks in succession for Shane Van Boening. He leads Gary Wilson by 3 racks to 1. These two, to get to this stage, have had a similarly easy passage. Actually, Wilson had a first-round walkover against a Scot, Fraser Patrick. And then he beat A up I 9-2. As for Shane Van Boening, he's recorded a couple of 9-2 victories over Christos Davitas and Ricardo Gudja. And Gudja is a reasonable player who is into losers qualification. So it's quite clear with the tournament wins recently I've mentioned and those comfortable victories already here that Van Boening is in pretty prime form.
Talking about form, Alnar is about to put an easy 9 to go 4-0 up over one of the tournament favourites, and he has done. Alnar 4, Joshua Filler 0. This is the beauty of what we're trying to achieve with the World 9-Ball Tour. Alnar's from Turkey. He was an unknown player, really, before he come onto the WNT. Not really done anything, any big pool tournaments. He's really stamping his name on the tour now, is Alnar.
And this time, the Van Boening break, which he could sell for thousands if he could package it up. This time the break has worked.
Yeah, at some point it will work. At some point you're going to get a shot. You can just sense it. And SVB is one of them types of players. When it's winner breaks, he likes to put packages together. He's not really a breaker and duck and hide. He wants to do 3, 4, 5 packs. That's what he's built his game around.
Also, he's got that terrific use of side when required. Plays with a very lengthy cue, a la Jason Shaw. But the way he's going here, this match might not be lengthy.
Yeah, I know you can't see the Phil at Alnar match. Well, you might be able to if you're watching it on the Multisport YouTube channel, but I mean on this very feed. But he's also breaking very, very hard. Breaking very good as well. SVB with a nice little gap here early on. And he's missed the 9 ball. From that angle, you can't afford to catch the rail anymore. That's old school pool.
So it was an unmissable 4-9 combination in the first rack for Wilson. Then it was an unmissable 9 over the pocket. Only 3-2 behind when it looked for all the world as though Shane Van Boening would lead 4-1. That's the kind of thing that will drive him to distraction. The reason he missed the 9, okay, wasn't the best shot, but that cue ball just ran on the previous positional shot and left him a tad awkward.
Yeah, and do you know what? That is the exact shot where I believe, and many of the other professionals, is the reason why we believe we should be playing on a little bit more of a tighter pocket, because that should not go in on any table. When you catch the rail from that angle where the 9 is, it should never go in the pocket. I understand 9 ball's got to be played on a more generous pocket, which these still are. As you said, Phil, you've just got to get a better cue ball sometimes.
Renewed life for Wilson.
He's going to make the 1, but he's got kicked in off. How did the cue ball stay there? Watch the cue ball here, Phil. Look at this. Incredible stuff.
Well, those centre pockets are tied for all balls, including the white.
Alnar's at the table again. 4 balls left. He's just walking around like he owns the gaff. Mr. Wilson decided not to really try and get clever with position, take his medton, pot the 2, play a good safety on the red 3. That's what he will be doing. He's at the point. He's got a good 3 ball, but that's not how he played the cue ball. Well, if you are watching the Phil at Alnar match on the other stream, you'll be witnessing a solid opening 5 racks here from Alnar. Oh, he's kicked it in. He'd have fancied going close with SVB.
And the side that was on the cue ball meant that it rebounded wide enough to hit the 9 and leave perfect position on the 4. What a shot maker.
Yeah, it's having the knowledge to make sure you try and hit that rail on ball at very similar times, and you'll always send that 3 ball over towards the pocket. Alnar 5-0 up on Filler. He's not going to give Filler the donut, surely.
That wasn't the best from Van Boening. Okay, the 6 is potable, but it's a real tester. Yes, those middle pockets are not to be trifled with.
Yeah, so SVB was looking good. It was all going his way. Missed a pretty easy 9 ball. He's played a loose positional shot in here. Gary Wilson won't care. He's there just to mop up the balls. And in fact, Phil, if he gets past the 9 ball here, if Gaz goes on to win this rack, he's won the last 2 racks, potting 4 balls, Phil. Welcome to 9 ball. The edge has crept out. Gary Wilson, what an opportunity he had there to tie the match up.
I think the speed of the table is catching both players out to a certain degree, but Wilson more than Van Boening. This is a really slick surface. Length of table bank. He'd be one of those you would nominate to take that shot for you.
Yeah, SVB has won numerous bank pool titles in America, and he's just shown us why.
He missed the 9 ball in rack 5, but not in rack 6. But really, the stage was set by his double on the 7. 4-2 in favour of Shane Van Boening. 3 different rounds going on at the moment. There's still some pool left in losers round 3. Manuel Montoya is 6-5 down to Quinton Pongas. Shane Walford 3-1 up on Mikhail Oegard. This to get into losers qualification, of course. Matthias Snigotsky on the hill against Masato Yoshioka at 7-5. Radislav Babica, who beat Mieszko Fortunski last night, he's out, losing 8-6 to Pierre Francesco Garcia. Moritz Neuhausen 5-4 on Chang Yulong. We saw Max Lechner scrape through on the main table this morning. Well, he's made a good start against Ivan Caio of Portugal, leading 3-0. John Morra squeezed by JJ Fall 8-7, and Dennis Valdecker 3-2 up on Fatim Hardanaj. At the end of this rack, I'll give you the very latest from winners qualification.
I'll tell you what, Phil, there's a lot of people in this room now, you know. It's really got lively. Obviously, we start at 10 AM. It's a miracle me and Phil are here at 10 AM, never mind the punters, but there's a lot of people out there. I remember last year, the final day, all the seats was packed out, if you remember, for the Alcadi Raga final. It was a fantastic atmosphere. I expect the same. Obviously, it's Thursday today, so we're coming up to the weekend.
Yeah, when it comes to finals, we've been so blessed. We've had so many tied finishes, so many deciding rack finishes.
Well, the world final was special, wasn't it, Phil? It was an unbelievable match. It had everything. So high quality, the drama, and we was blessed with a one-rack shootout. Both players got to shoot a shot in the final rack as well. This is not ideal. It's gone wrong. He's left a piece of the yellow one.
Every positional shot, it seems, that goes wrong, every safety shot, every hook that doesn't quite work out, it's all because the ball is marginally overhit. These tables, I keep saying it, but I can't reiterate enough. This table is one of the fastest I've ever seen on the World 9-Ball Tour.
Yeah, well, it's warm outside, isn't it? Obviously, we're in, what month are we in, Phil? Is it August, July? Where are we?
Some people don't know what day it is. Carl, it's just the month he doesn't know.
Well, I wouldn't say it was breaking news, but Alnar is on the 9-ball again to make it 6-0 against Joshua Filler. Who saw that coming? I didn't. Doesn't feel like Gaz has had a lot of table time with a lot of balls on the table. He's potted that 9-ball that SVB missed over the pocket, and then he come to the table with 3 balls left. Now he's got a full table to work out. Needed a good kiss there, and to be fair, I think he's got one. At least he can pot the blue 2. It's a little thin one. It's going to be awkward to get position on the red ball. Yeah, a little delicate one, trying to hold. You know, it's not bad that. It goes in between the green 6 and the 9 ball.
Looks as though he's going to, again, keep Shane Van Boening within striking distance.
Yeah, it's this 9 ball, and we're going to get to see the break again. He's none from 2. But who cares, Phil? It's 4-3.
Yeah, not a bad performance so far from Wilson. Now, winners qualification. Latest man through, Do Tae Kien, who's beaten Ioniuski 9-7. It's a win for Robbie Capito, 9-7 over Dennis Grabber. Over on table 4, Aloysius Yap going nicely against Dimitris Lukatos. He leads 5-2. Albin Auschen on table 7 on the hill against Tim de Ruyter. Auschen leading 8-7. Same scoreline for Kopin Yi over Imran Majid. Sullivan Clark and Koping Chung, the US Open champion, 6-6. Declan Kachi has lost the first rack against Emil Andre Gangflo. And it's 2-all Duong Quoc Wang of Vietnam and Wojciech Shevchik. Anton Raga, last year's runner-up, 4-2 down to Ko Ping Han.
Well, at least he's found the sweet spot with the 1 ball. Seems to be the regular theme on this table so far this week. Fuller's on a 50-yard line, 9 ball. You know where the 9 ball usually stops on the table, near the racking area? He's got a little thin one. He's missed it. He's missed it, Phil. He's put it over the pocket. Joshua Filler, so reliable at potting balls as Mr. 50-yarder. Alnar is about to go 7 up. Good hit from Shane, but he's going to give up a shot.
If Filler does lose, awaiting him in losers qualification will be Kostas Koukiadakis.
Yeah, but Costas wasn't expecting that to come, but it's looking likely. Gazza's got a problem here. He's got to get from top end to the bottom end. That's not the worst problem, though. It's the brown 7.
That's the one thing in favour of snooker players when they play 9 ball. For him, that would be a short-range shot. In the mind of a pool player, it would be a medium to long-range shot.
Feels he's got an angle here. Just want to be a bit careful. I wonder if he could just roll into... You've got to be a bit careful with the cue ball. You don't want the cue ball to start flying away from you. Well, he does have a nice little angle. Yeah, that's okay. That works out lovely. Very handy where the cue ball finished there off that blue two. Just cued the long ball in, come all the way down, and just left a perfect angle. This is a glorious chance, this. One good shot needed from purple to green 6. The green 6 goes in the bottom left corner. 2 rails, try and slide in behind it. Played it too hard here, he needs a bit of luck. Yeah, he's completely lost the cue ball. That's just lack of knowledge on the pool table. You know, it took the wrong direction. That's all that is. Just got into the cue ball too much. Now, what's he like with a short stick? Wilson's going airborne. Well, he clearly likes the colour green. Look at his shirt.
You know, I've seen him practicing jump shots and he pulls them off more often than not. But when you've spent a lifetime playing them, it's very different to trying to cram it all in a few months. Two shots we've seen back-to-back from Wilson. You can lay at the feet of inexperience. Van Boening back to ahead at 5-3. Really good atmosphere in this Hotel Esperanto Conference Centre arena today. And so far, it's been a good day for the American contingent in general. Picking up on that theme, table 18 sees Shane Walford 5-1 up on Michael Oegard in the penultimate losers round. Matthias Snigotsky still on the hill against Masato Yoshioka at 7-5. Not going well for Moritz Neuhausen. 6-5 down now to Chang Yulong. Max Lechner 3-1 over Ivan Kayao. Dennis Valdecker 3-2 on Fitim Haradinaj. Losers qualification is just about to get underway. First match there will be Oscar Dominguez against Konrad Yuzhushin. That's an attractive contest.
Crunching break. I think he's got a shot on the 2 ball. Yes, he does. The break has just started to turn in Shane's favour.
Because of his stature in the game, have to give you this mid-rack result. Albin Auschen is through, beating Tim de Ruyter 9-7.
That'll frustrate Shane, that will. Didn't mean to hit the green 6. Don't know if he can chop this ball in. Very thin. And again, if he has to play safe here, Phil, it's another chance where you'd have to mark down as a mistake. He had an open look at the 2 for a break and run. Poor positional shot. No shot on the red 3. May have to let his opponent back out the chair. Can he chop it? Obviously very thin, just because he's taking his time on it. Safety looks okay. You can just double the 3 off the rail. It just above the 6, sorry. And use the 7. Look at that though. Surely that's not snuck out as well.
It's that extra roll that is bamboozling all of the players on this table. It just floats on when you least expect it to.
Well, SVB has had all the chances. Kaz has just mopped up a couple, probably 3 racks here. What can you do though? That's all you can do. Gary will be loving life at the moment. Can't believe the chances he's been getting. Filler's nightmare continues. Mustafa Alnar's got 4 balls left to get himself on the hill. I'm not saying Filler's going to get beat 9-0, but if it does happen to Phil, I bet it's the first time it's ever happened.
What an astounding scoreline that would be, let alone a astounding result. And Gary Wilson's in the mood for an upset. One behind again at 5-4. Winners qualification scores for you. Alosha Shap now 6-2 over Dimitris Lakatos. Kopinyi on the hill against Imran Majid at 8-7. So to Ko Ping Chung, 8-6 over Sullivan Clark. Eklund Kachi and Emil Andre Gangflo, 1-1. 3-3 Duong Kok Wang and Wojciech Szewczyk. Ko Ping Han, 4-3 over Anton Raga. What I think it would be if all 3 Ko brothers made the last 64. Johan Chua, no doubt looking forward to the Reyes Cup in Manila in October. He's 7-3 ahead of Francesco Candela. The veteran Nick Vandenberg, 4-2 on Tobias Bongers. 3-1 for Jonas Suter Camino over Lin Ta Li. By the way, Vandenberg has just gone 5-2 up on Bongers. David Al-Kaidi, the defending champion, 7-3 ahead of Ian Pekinyak. And Wu Kun Lin is a 9-3 winner over Mickey Krause.
Yeah, that's good from Gaz. Needs help though, and that is not the help he needs. Wow, he's been kicked in off in the top corner pocket. Granted, he lost the cue ball, he screwed it off the rail, but this is brutal. Well, it's the 8th of August, 2024. It's the 3rd European Open here in Fulda. Joshua Filler is about to possibly create history because he's 8-0 down against Mustafa Alnar. Alnar, he's trying to be the first player ever to give Filler the donut.
Well, in Chinese culture, the number 8 is considered to be lucky. But on the 8th of the 8th, and being 8-0 down, that most certainly isn't lucky. I'm sure Filler can't quite believe it. People will be walking into this arena thinking the scoreboard is malfunctioned.
Yeah, I bet if you glance at the TV, you would, you would think Filler's 8-0 up, wouldn't you? But he isn't. Definitely a name to watch, though, is Alnar. The fact that he beat Federer at the Worlds and he's doing a number on Filler clearly shows you he's got some game. I think he's relatively young as well, Phil. He's Alnar.
I can definitely see a shirt in future for him bearing the nickname Giant Killer. Every time Wilson has a chance to get back onto level terms, something intervenes. No mistake from Shane Van Boening. He now leads 6-4. another giant of the game, has claimed a recent victory. Ko Pin Yi, 9-7 over Imran Majid, who made the early running there. And Ko Ping Chung has just beaten Sullivan Clark 9-6. The Ko brothers, as they normally do, going deep. Anton Raga and Ko Ping Han, 4-4. Johan Chua on the hill against Francesco Candela at 8-3. Elliot Sanderson 4-2 up on Nick Malai. Niels Fine, the veteran. Wonderful start against Ramazan Akdag. He leads 5-0. And Francisco Sanchez Ruiz was 4-0 up on Georgi Georgiev. Georgiev then won 3 racks, but now FSR leads 6-3.
The last couple of times SVB has broke, he's had a look at the ball and he's made a mess of the rack. Big news coming in, breaking news, Phil. We're not going to see history. Phil has won a rack. It's 8-1.
You sounded disappointed there, Carl, and I think Shane Van Boening will be very disappointed. Scratching on his break. Every time it looks as though he's going to gain control of the match, something happens.
Yeah, it's setting itself up to be a tidy finish. I really want to talk about Joshua Filler. He's a fantastic character, you know, he's a phenomenal winner, isn't he? You know, he's won so much at such a young age, but I know in darts, in the PDC, I've heard commentators and interviewers and people like Wayne Mardell who do the studio say that Michael Van Gerwen is a phenomenal loser. And after he loses matches and big matches, he talks so well and he always gives props to his opponents. And Joshua Filler is the same. When he potted the 9, he just, as he walked back to his chair, he was just laughing. He's a phenomenal loser as well as a great winner, and that's a great trait to have, you know. Even if he does go on to lose that match, which is looking likely, he'll just unscrew the cue, tap his opponent on the shoulder, and he'll just get ready for his next match.
Yeah, slightly easier to be a good loser when you've only lost 1 in a double elimination. As Carl smiles.
Well, I've seen him lose big finals and still be very, like, you know, giving his opponent all the credit and just...
Oh yeah, I'm not disputing what you're saying. He is a good
Phil.
lad.
Relax, Phil, relax, pal.
Gary Wilson, 6-5 now.
Yeah, he's hanging on in his Gaz, isn't he? He's there. He really is.
Winners qualification. Scorelines. Aloysius Schaap 6-2 over Dimitris Lakatos. Eklund Kachi early stages against Norway's Emil Andre Gangflo. Kachi leading 2-1. David Al-Qaidi on the hill against Ian Pikenyak. The defending champion was pleased with the way he played yesterday. We heard that in an interview. And he will be pleased with an 8-3 lead against an opponent of that caliber. Nicholas Tan, he beat Mieszko Fortunski yesterday. He's playing Chris Melling today. Melling leading 3-2. And now Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is pulling away again against Georgi Georgiev to 7-3. Just starting out on table 7. Tough one to call. Alex Kazakis against James Arenas. Now can Wilson get this break going to a degree?
Oh my word, he's lost the cue ball. This just seems to be on repeat. The last 3 breaks, we've lost the cue ball.
me, Carl, both matches we've done today, the amount of incident, they've been so eventful, haven't they? You can't take your eyes off it. It's not been routine, repetitious pool. All kinds of stuff has gone on.
Yeah, the only difference is this match has been played very briskly, isn't it? The balls are still open, so even when we're seeing a mistake, the other player's winning the rack very quickly, so that's what makes this a little bit more exciting than the previous one we did between Max and Pierce, because that was a real slog, wasn't it? This one's been... it's been a lot quicker. He's a little straight on this ball, though. He's going to have to pull it straight back. And get all the way up table, maybe for the 6 in the side. He's got a lot into that, hasn't he? So he may be able to play this into the corner now. I think he's going to try and hold the cue ball in the centre of the table. He missed it. He has. He's fired it into the rail. Gary Wilson comes to the table again with 4 balls on the table.
He's been given some unexpected gifts.
He has indeed. And he won't mind them. That's not his problem. He's there just to try and win racks. There's a neat shot. That's the type of angle SVB wanted before he missed the 6. Phil's won another rack. 8-2 down. Gary Wilson, one of the best snooker players in the world, has missed a hanger.
Well, he was playing with check side, but he's a very good player with side when it comes to snooker, so that shot should not have been any issue.
What about the positional shot from Shane, though? He's left the cue ball near the pocket. Now he's got to go around the world with the rock. Well, how about that for a positional shot from the 5-time US Open champ?
The pattern continues. Since 3-1, racks have been traded. Shane Van Boening leading 7-5. He could have won this match easily. Conversely, there's a school of thought which is legitimate to say that Wilson might be in front himself. A few matches still going on in losers round 3. Manuel Montoyo 7-6 up on Quinton Pongas on the hill. Loser side is a race to 8, of course. Shane Walford 5-3 on Mikael Oegaard. Moritz Neuhausen within a rack of elimination. He's 7-6 down to Chang Yulong. Max Lechner 4-1 on Ivan Koyeo. And Dennis Valdecker 4-3 up on Fitim Haradinaj. Losers qualification has begun. Oscar Dominguez and Konrad Yuzhushin sharing the first 2 racks. It really is a busy day when we go from double to single elimination, which begins here tomorrow. The big news on winners qualification. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz on the hill against Georgi Georgiev. Niels fine, 5-0 over Ramazan Akdag. David Alcady on the hill against Ian Pikignac at 8-3. Now then, will Van Boening make the most of his break? This is just a theory, Carl. I'm going to ask you this, whether you think it's got any validity. It seems to me that because the table is so quick, these 2 players They're a little spooked by it, and sometimes they're playing tentatively.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you've never played pool and you've watched it and you think, oh, it's easy, the pockets are bigger than, I don't know, if you've watched some other cue sports around the world, you don't appreciate how fast these tables are. So certain shots, you've simply just got to cue the ball and time the shot. So nice. Phil has won another rack, Phil. We're talking about him getting beat 9-0 10 minutes ago. Surely he doesn't come back and win that match. He can. Can he?
He's one of less than a handful of players you wouldn't ride off in that kind of situation.
Just had enough there to force over. Nice angle now. Float down for the 9. You always want to leave yourself straight on these type of 9 balls though. As straight as you possibly can. That takes the pressure out of the shot. And he's put himself under pressure. This is not straight. It's a little cutback. These are very, very easy to tweak and just hit the jaw. This is to get on the hill.
He didn't make life easy for himself, Shane Van Boening, but now, for the first time in the match, he has a 3-rack advantage, leading Gary Wilson 8-5. In winners' qualification, Aloysius Yap from Singapore, looking forward to the Reyes Cup. Representing Asia, he's 7-2 up on Dimitris Lakatos. So 2 racks away from the last 64. Hoping Han, the youngest of the 3 very talented co-brothers, now back in front against Anton Raga at 5-4. Yan Chua, the Filipino hero at last year's World Cup, he's beaten Francesco Candela 9-3. It's got a little tighter between Sanderson and Malai. Elliott now 4-3 up.
Yeah, that's a good little match. Malai's a character. Sanderson is a character. I think I might wander over to that table after this match and sweat the end of that.
So Van Boening on the hill. I've got a £10 note for every time I'd said that.
Another scratch. How many scratches are we on in this match, Phil? 4 off the break? Look at the combo he's got on all. Quickest rack of his life. 8-6 it will be if he slots this combo home.
Started out with a combo in the opening rack, did Gary Wilson. This one is slightly more circumspect, but it's in nevertheless. 8-6, not over yet.
I'll tell you what, Phil, I would love to know the ball count in this match. I know Shane's still 2 in front, but 8-6 is a close match. I'd love to know how many balls Gary Wilson has potted compared to Shane. I bet it's a big old difference. I bet McMullen would have the answer.
He's got the answer to everything. Tell you what, Julian Roper, the roving referee, he's being kept busy because, as you said earlier, these racks are flying by.
Yeah, he's a fit young man, is Julian. He's turned himself into one of the better referees on tour as well.
A real pool enthusiast. He was telling me on the way over here, we were on the same flight, that he's going to attend the Moscone Cup this year as a fan.
He's not refereeing?
Won't be able to cheer, will he? Needs to retain that neutral face.
Here we go again. We've had 4 scratches off the break. Gary Wilson has had a bit of a nightmare on the break. Does the nightmare stop now? 8-6. That's better. Surely he's got to stay dry. As he's got a shot on the blue too, I think, if it holds up. He does. Is the 3-9 combo on? Oh my word, you will not believe what I've just seen, Phil. Joshua Filler, 3 balls over the pocket. All he's got to do is stun the purple 5 in. He miscues, misses the 5 ball. Mustafa Alnar, he's going to win the match. Positional shot from Gary has gone a little bit wrong. This is the table, this is the 9. And this is for the win. Alnar, the giant killer. He is not scared of beating the big boys on the circuit. He beat Fedor Gorst at the World Champs in qualification rounds, and he's just beat Filler in qualification rounds. Filler finds himself in the 1-loss side.
Yes, he will be back involved later on today. Not too much later.
He'll get himself out of the building, will Josh? Get himself a bit of food, a drink, a bit of fresh air, and come back up for that match in LQ. SVB's got the short stick. I wonder if he's trying to cheeky jump bank shot here. It's a big pocket, that purple 5 ball. Could hit the purple 5 and go in that pocket, you know. Gone wrong. A little bit of a gap here, I think. Yeah, he's threaded through the eye of a needle to get position for the purple 5. All of a sudden, it is game on the main table. SVB, one of the greats on a pool table. Snooker player, snooker star Gary Wilson. Battle of the Q Sports. It's 8-7 to SVB. Gaz will be breaking in rack 16.
Yes, you've got to make Van Boening favourite still, but there's a big difference between a favourite and a certainty, and SVB is most certainly not a certainty now.
Let's not forget this is winners qualification, so it's not all doom and gloom for the loser. 256 players start in our open events. And it's all about qualification rounds to get through to the final 64, which is then single elimination. So you just look at this a little bit like a golf tournament. The first 2 days is all about making the cut. The golfers, some of the golfers fly home after 2 days, and then the others who have made the cut stay and play the Saturday and Sunday. Very similar. In our open events, 256 start. Only 64 make it through. Doesn't matter how you make it through, Phil, does it? Just get your name in the hat.
Now, will the break cooperate?
Something tells us no. Something tells us no again. Now, you might think he's been a little bit unlucky. There would be a case for putting that forward, but the harshness is he's losing the cue ball, Phil. He's not made the one. Unfortunately, he's kicked the one and gone in the side. SVB ball in hand for the match.
Carl Boyes hasn't got a crystal ball. He's just got immense knowledge of the game. When he has a hunch, he's like one of those TV detectives. It always seems to be correct.
It's been a great match. It's been the best match I've commentated on so far. We've had them little mistakes, them, you know, we don't expect them to creep in, but just little mistakes. I think you're right, Phil, what you're saying. I think the speed of the table has caught both players out. It seems to be running very fast. We need like a stint meter or something, get a bit of a reading. See how fast it's rolling. When we knew Shane and Gary were going to be playing, it was a match we was all sort of looking forward to. Battle of the Q Sport bases, the different disciplines. Can a snooker player beat one of the top pool players? And he's running very close, but SVB has a chance to wrap this one up. Not putting you on the spot, Phil, but do we know who the loser of this match will be playing?
We do. It's the Uri Teng who overcame Khalid Al Ghamdi 8-4. So that will be the losers' qualification contest for perhaps Gary Wilson, but not there yet.
No, definitely not there yet. There's still a bit of life left in this rack. He's just got to play a couple of decent positional shots. If he gets on the 8, good. Nice little angle. You feel like it's over. So this is the key shot here for me.
Held that 6 ball so well with check.
And I will say, if it is Gary Wilson, Uri Teng is a tough opponent. He's had some decent wins. Needs the cue ball to bounce, which it has done. Decision time. Can he force it over to play the 9 in the bottom left corner, or does he have to run across the potting line and play it in the bottom right? He's going across the potting line. This is the 2nd or 3rd time SVB has left himself this shot. Just not quite getting through the cue ball. I think that's down to the speed of the table. So it's a 50-yarder for the match.
I'll tell you what, his prevailing emotion will be one of a relief. Gary Wilson acquitted himself well there. Van Boening had some bad luck. He made some mistakes you don't expect. But in the end, in the final shake-up, it is Van Boening who goes through. He wins the match by 9 racks to 7. He's into the last 64 tomorrow. His day's work is complete. But for those in losers qualification, it most certainly is not. Next up on the main table, it is in losers qualification, win or go home. Quang Nam Pham of Vietnam against Imran Majid, who's just been edged out by Ko Pin Yi. So Majid against Quang Nam Pham, coming your way with Michael McMullen and Jeremy Jones in around 5 minutes' time. seen plenty of perspiration. Now we're seeing inspiration.
Listen to the noise. This is to tie the match up.
It all would have been there for him.
Oh my word!
He's got it! And it would be the shot of the tournament.
Magnificent!